April 22nd, 2026, proof of life, mental acuity. This one's been a difficult one to put together. As per usual, if I even fall asleep for 5, 10, 15 minutes, I'm assaulted. And I was assaulted this afternoon, of course. And I know one of the persons, actually I know both of them, but it was one of them. They always love to come around and say, to see how clever they are. It's quite hilarious. So this one might be a bit more time, so I might end up breaking it up into two if I put it on TikTok or whatever. The reason this is going to be difficult, this is kind of personal. This one's way more personal than normal. Because, it involves family, so to speak. You look at the past, as I'm sitting here where I grew up, for the most part. And thinking thoughts about life that was lost because of a bunch of toddlers. Bigotry is nothing more than psychopathy. Never grew up around blacks. Put a video up asking why black Americans always steal. It's so ingrained in their culture, and mostly because there's no middle class or upper class black Americans to enforce a cultural, long-term cultural view. The main thing is, and this one is, right now we're living in the hellscape of those baby boomers who grew up during and end of the civil rights era, beginning of they want to go back to where what they thought was great times, and it really kind of sucked. The South was poor. It was absolutely terrible. It still is poor. I know where I grew up, it was mostly New York, moved here, but when you go inland, it sucked. No roads, dirt roads. And that was in the 70s. Where I grew up, right now you see these houses they're built in the 50s, but they're mostly built for Harris and workers and engineers at the Cape during the space boom. When I grew up around, were either skilled labor or highly skilled labor or highly educated. And it looks like it's about to come back, which is kind of cool in a way. When we look at the present, we're looking at a country that's controlled by bankers and the Zionist and Saudi Arabia and even Russia, our enemy for generations. Go figure. And then most people don't even realize it. The media is controlled by Zionists. All the banks are controlled by Zionists. It's funny, the WASP are all being waspy, but they don't control almost anything anymore. They view me as a threat when the devil's already gone to the door. And I shouldn't really call him. They're going to try to take this down as well. He's being anti-Semitic. That means I'd have to hate me, and I don't hate me. I like me. What the Zionists have done in Israel and the state of Israel, a foreign state, Russia, for the last decade or so, the white Christian nationalists, as they're trying to bring Jesus back. And then the Saudis getting in underneath to shut us up. It's all a clusterfuck. But the main thing is right now, I want to talk about is in the last 6 years, since Biden was at 5 years now, 1.5 years, my entire adult life, I've realized bigots, white Christian nationalist bigots, and Zionists have violated my privacy and destroyed everything I would try to create. To go live my life quietly, peacefully, away from people. That is the greatest threat to psychopathic bigots, because they thought a scapegoat, they don't exist, because they're not really people, they're stuck children being run by a meme entity. They're not human. They don't mean it from an ontological perspective. They're still human, but from an ontological thinking perspective, they're controlled by external forces. And to another section, and then this gets to, here is using something I learned, family, to help this country that I really like. I like being American. And, granted, I never lived with Black Americans, and we don't like Black Americans. Well, behavior kind of sucks. I understand it. You try to understand it, but behavior sucks. I'm not going to sugarcoat that shit. I can get why you call each other nigger. The person called me a nigger, I punched him. Even my buddy, black dude, I don't let him call me. No. Nobody calls me a nigger, period. Words have power, they have meaning. You have to be understanding of your words for they affect your entire being. But, the situation here is, I'm doing what's right. And you always, as it says, no good deed goes unpunished. I'm sitting there looking at my brother, stabbing me in the back, thinking he's being clever. They had a couple years ago, I needed his help. McRaven has him, filling up my very narcissistic sister-in-law head, be the high point of Black America. My brother's an idiot. He doesn't know what he doesn't know. He's going to say, well, you don't know. No, not even close to knowing and understanding. And that's nothing to do with him being black. That's just being human. Very few people can do what I can do. Even McRaven can't do what I can do, or he wouldn't be trying to use my brain all the time. He's a psychopath. He's a stuck child. McRaven, Biden, they overthrew this country. They're traitors. And I'll forever say that about them. They're pieces of shit. So they have my brother thinking he's putting ideas all up in his head. But he doesn't understand where the end point of those ideas. He's all pissed off. Well, all the money I'm going to make it. Well, first off, you're just not equipped, psychologically equipped, you and your kids. And it's like, why would you give all your money to my sister? Because your kids aren't equipped. You and your kids are not equipped to handle money. Poverty begins in the mind, pure and simple. There was a time, 20 years ago. Yeah, oh shit, it's so long, 15, 17, okay, yeah, 17 years ago. I was thinking of starting business. I was like, yeah, dude, thinking I'd work with my brother and all right. And two things occurred during that time. One, my brother to lunch. And he said he wanted to do something. Now, he had no idea. I had spent thousands of dollars already at that point. Entrepreneurial courses, everything I could, just gobble up as much information as possible. Because I knew from the time I was a teenager, I was going to be an entrepreneur. I could see really working for somebody for a long period. Nah, it just wasn't my thing. And sitting in this restaurant, and he wanted my sister, who's a CPA, you know, professional. You know, she's a school teacher, but she's a professional. She was a licensed CPA. I don't know if she keeps her license, but I think she might. And just the whole thing about, and the way he's just like, he wanted everyone to do everything for free. And I'm just looking at him going, are you fucking lost? What kind of shit is that? And just the whole behavior of thinking was just, it's fucking pathetic. You work all really hard to build up all these skill sets, and you just want us to give it to you. Not how can I help, but how can we help each other build it? You're gonna get it. And then certain times he would say things about taking. I remember I was sitting in that restaurant, and he said it and out loud, and I'm sitting there looking around and and everyone around him just kind of went, "Are you fucking?" Just they all locked up, and they can see how shocked I was. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not the way we were taught. Where did this fucking stupid come from? Always, I don't trust him. I couldn't trust him, you know. Part of the things, I give him $5 million as a loan. Well, pay back through it's set up. It's worth way more than $5 million. But greed with McRaven whispering in his ear, because he thinks I'm not supposed to be worth billions. Hell, I wasn't planning on talking to him. I knew he could never be around me with money. That's the first thing you learn when you realize you're going to start making a boat ton of money. The people that aren't capable of being around money, you don't be around. You have to leave them behind. That's a hard, very hard thought process. And they'll call you all kinds of names, but they'll bring you down if you don't. As Master Diver King would say, crabs in the bucket. When excellence is achieved, excellence is expected. And crabs in the bucket can't stand that excellence. And so right now, they're filling my brother's head. All kinds of dumb shit. You know, America, I'm sitting there looking at, you know, like Dorma's wedding, the redo of their wedding vows. McRaven had to do it on the same day. I had a big day with the lodge on purpose. Everything is, you know, last night he breaks into the room. Everything is designed to make it look, to make Black America go, oh, screw Reggie, and yeah, we're gonna go with his brother because he's black. I'm gonna inform you this right now. First off, if he wants all those golden goodies he thinks he's gonna get, he has to kill me. Second off, the reason I did it the way I did it was so I wouldn't be forced to kill him to protect the crown. But his narcissistic wife was just going to keep coming and keep pushing, and his kids are going to do the same thing. He just doesn't understand this is the great game. This is far bigger than just his greed and her greed. This is the changing of society, the shaping of society, of culture. This is not what I wanted to do when I grew up. I just wanted to go, I'm dead serious. I was going to work really hard. I was okay. Well, I figured, because I didn't realize just how abusive my mother really was, trying to make it look like it was my dad, but it was really her the whole time. I was going to play in my 20s, work really hard in my 30s, mid 40s, be done. go travel the world. Like, that's what I wanted to do. That was my dream. That was my American dream. And I did everything I could. I learned whatever I needed to do to make that happen. But here are these fucktards destroying everything I do. These incompetent fucks. So, and I say that I mean McRaven's incompetent. He couldn't compete without killing Admiral Borda. He just goes about killing everybody in CONUS. That's not a protector. Because he's not just killing black Americans. Stealing my intellectual property. Sexualists having Kamala Harris order the sexual assault of me. And then, then they would say she was not allowed to, would not be allowed to not quit attacking me. No. If she became president, no. Can't have that. And then you have King Charles III killing his own mother because of Camilla. And I'll tell you this, if you see my brother, he reaches that point, the pinnacle, besides being just an average working person. No, you are re-enslaved. If you're a black American, and if you're white American, you are completely re-enslaved. Enslaved without realizing it. That's the whole trick. You don't have to like me, I don't really care. If I am not Duke of Edinburgh, the United States has fallen. And I do not care about King Charles's brother. You shouldn't have killed your mother, you little shits. Camilla devastated the family. The damage that woman has done. Not just to the family, but to England and the Commonwealth. King Charles is just he became a weaker man because of Camilla. I was thinking about Abraham Torrey and the Sahrawi, and they had Admiral Losi over there. And I almost guarantee you, in some form, when they got rid of Losi, he realized what was going on. That because Losi, as an Air Force Academy graduate, good dude, but the good men were not being moved to positions like they were in the Army, to higher positions. McRaven was undercutting everyone, destroying people's careers, pushing out all the really intelligent people and the people with integrity. And that's why he kicked America out. And he'll be there as long as he keeps doing good by his people. If he doesn't, well then. So he better keep doing good by his people. A black leader, hopefully he does not, as he gets older, fall prey to gluttony and all the other things, and somehow finds ways to be able to transfer power peaceably to the next generation. But that's on him. I hope he does it well, and I hope he doesn't just pass it on to his kids. I hope he creates a council and then let the council pick or something when it is time, when his breath is, because he's going to be there for until he passes. But that's just me. He does what he has to do. But long as he keeps to take care of his people, improve their lives. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it. It's a little bit longer day today. I'm looking out in the water, listening to the sounds of earth and human life interacting. I know, man, nobody watches these, but whatever. Know this, legally, Donald Trump overthrew the Constitution on January 20th, 2021. And Joe Biden, the piece of shit legal scholar who knows that Donald Trump, creature of the Senate, overthrew the Constitution, was too much of a piece of shit to do what was right. He couldn't get past his own psychopathy and bigotry. The young black Americans know this. They realize I'm right. So, once again, doesn't matter if you're European American or Black American. You see my brother, they hold him up high. Because one other thing I forgot that was on the heart, I took my brother to a Rich Dad Poor Dad conference. I'm talking to some people. And these European Americans couldn't deal with the fact that I don't do the whole, hey, bullshit that Black Americans do to try to placate and make you feel comfortable and come as who I am. And then I watch them go and talk to my brother and look like, oh, look, we got one. He'll be your new house nigger. That's how you think. And Black and white and European Americans will be like, oh, see, we got one. See, be like this one. Don't make us nervous that you are actually going to compete. Stay poor. So the 1% can keep extracting everything from us. If we're getting out of this situation, European Americans, guess what? Since the Constitution does not exist in legal effect, whoever puts it back gets full power. And people like McRaven and Biden and Mitch McConnell, and all those pieces of crap, neocons and neoliberals, Clintons, well, they did good for you. They didn't do shit. They destroyed Black communities. They gutted the middle class. They destroyed this country. Also, few can make a lot of money, and European Americans can externalize their negativity while making less and less and less and less. China, yeah, we could have had great trade with China, but we have no manufacturing. What do? Oh, if you want to raise your wages, then we're going to take it over to overseas. That's bullshit. But then they still want our protections. They still want to send your kids to go protect their money with their blood sacrifice. I guess child sacrifices still haven't stopped. And the entities get to feed off that blood. stupid is as stupid does, and right now we're being pretty fucking stupid. I wish America this is the tree that I know that I will not sit under. I was supposed to write a book, maybe, hopefully live to be a little old after my travels. I was supposed to by now at least gotten to base camp and K2 or Everest, see the awe and wonder. Fucking McRaven stole my damn passport, so they're probably gonna deport me someplace, kill me, make sure. Because he's trying damn this to kill me. He'll probably succeed. It is what it is. I'm supposed to be just traveling the world, and doing cool shit, and, should have got my degree in material sciences like I really wanted to do instead of business. Be doing math problems for the fun of it. Instead, I'm being assaulted every night. Bigots really are stupid people. Actually, again, they're not people. And I wanted to go see the world and do different things and do the right things. Instead of my brother, when I said, yeah, I did, I was doing it by the right way, instead of saying, yeah, I understand. I'm really just disappointed in the man he is. Everyone can say whatever, you don't have anything, you did it. I never lost who I am. And I understand, codependent. He married his mom. She's a malignant narcissist. His wife's a malignant narcissist. It is what it is. He said, well, he's helping you. He's not helping me. He's setting me up. This is all so that he can steal, because he thinks he's entitled to what I earned, what I was working for, what is my blood right, because the royal bloodline goes through me, even though my last name's Jackson, which is just a commoner's name, not through him. The aristocracy part, yeah, but the royal bloodline goes through my dad, not his. And when we were my mom's thing, 90th birthday, he listened closely to the words. He actually hates me just for existing. It is what it is. I'm not safe. I've never been safe. I don't remember a time in my life where I've been safe. Maybe didn't have bullets flying or everything else, but the worst, when safety is outside, when non-safety is outside, and you have safety inside, it's a different story, but when the inside is not safe, it's way worse. But then have the government coming in and doing yeah. And McRaven, yeah, I do mean it. He can't. And Duke of Edinburgh, he can never leave the United States. No, he can. He'll never be allowed to leave Texas. Because one thing about the Cluster B, they do everything to you that they are terrified of themselves. So let him be chased for the rest of his life. And go to jail. Or prison, actually. He'll probably take it over, control it from all the practicing of being an admiral or, working his way up. But his freedom needs to be taken away. Great Britain cannot allow even though Charles was working with Biden and Harris and McRaven and Olson, dumbass gave away his sovereignty, and Palantir now controls his country. Fucking tool. Anyhow, I rambled for 30 minutes. It's time to go. I wish you all well.